Hey guys, today we have Harsh and he is having 2.5 year of experience in Java, Spring Boot and microservices domain. And those who want to give same free mock interview, please fill out the form below in the description. So now let's get started. Hey, hello Harsh, how are you?
Hi, Faisal. I'm doing great. What about you?
Yes, I'm also good. Shall we start?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you please introduce yourself and your recent project in brief?
Sure. So I completed my graduation in 2022 from a college named Gokaraju Rangaraju in
Mm-hmm.
information technology.
Mm-hmm.
So right after my college, I got into this company named Product Solutions in Hyderabad.
Mm-hmm.
I also interned there for 3 months during my college, and after that, I was taken on as a full stack dev in the company.
Mm-hmm.
For a brief period of time, I was also a Salesforce tester there. After
Mm-hmm.
that, my role shifted to being a complete Java backend developer with
Mm-hmm.
little work with Angular.
Mm-hmm.
So my last project was for this client called AT&T.
Mm-hmm.
It is a telecommunications client from North America.
Mm-hmm.
So what my role there was of Java backend developer using Spring Boot.
Mm-hmm.
My main roles and responsibilities were developing RESTful APIs, managing
Mm-hmm.
databases, documentation,
Mm-hmm.
writing JUnit test cases,
Mm-hmm.
and many more.
So, like you said, you are a backend developer, you create REST APIs, unit test cases, etc., etc. So, what are the best practices you follow while writing REST APIs?
Best practices.
Mm-hmm.
Following solid principles is a very solid start whenever you want to write coding.
Yeah,
Following
yeah.
solid principles is my suggestion to start
Mm-hmm.
with. And I see often that people always misplace methods and their implementations. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they write post code and get methods sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
That is often very confusing.
Proper HTTPS,
Yeah,
HTTP codes and all. Mm-hmm.
yeah, having an exception controller, global
Mm-hmm.
exception handler is always helpful
Mm-hmm.
whenever developing RESTful APIs.
Mm-hmm.
And there must be an authentication and authorization section for your APIs to be secure
Mm-hmm.
as well.
So let's say there are two APIs. One is returning their data with a response entity, and one is returning the data without response entity. So what are the differences between their responses?
So response entity allows you to add headers, whatever you
Mm-hmm.
want.
Mm-hmm.
It also allows you to specify the HTTP, the response code.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if it's a bad request, then it would
Mm-hmm.
return a response code of in the series of 400s. And
Mm-hmm.
if it's an internal server error, it would
Mm-hmm.
return a response code in the series of 500s.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's a successful one, it would return a response code in series of 200s. So
Mm-hmm.
the REST entity allows us to structure this in header and the data part. You can
Mm-hmm.
keep it separate, and it also returns a response code.
Okay, okay. And so in your REST APIs, in your current project, you guys return a response as a JSON format, right? In a
Yeah,
JSON. Do we have another format?
yeah, XML. But I have never used
You
it, but
haven't
we can
used.
also return data in XML.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, so moving ahead, mm, do you know what are wrapper classes?
Yeah, integer is a wrapper class, character is a wrapper class.
Mm-hmm.
These classes are used to wrap these primitive data types that we have
Mhm, mhm.
to increase functionality.
Okay, so how does the immutability of wrapper class benefits multi-threaded application? You know, like wrapper classes are immutable, right?
Yeah, but I'm not sure how
Mm-hmm.
it affects multi-threading applications.
Have you worked with multi-threaded application?
Yeah, there was a very limited exposure of mine to
Mm-hmm.
threading.
Mm-hmm.
I used executor service in my application.
Okay, okay. In multi-threaded application, basically immutability of wrapper classes prevents threads from causing data corruption by modifying objects concurrently. Okay,
Okay.
so that's how we can take the benefits of this. Okay, so have you worked with the reflection?
No.
No. Okay. Okay, so uh, Harsh, I would like to share one important thing with you. Actually, we had launched complete interview preparation material, structured step by step by myself, experts, and MNCs interviewers. And the best part is that now no one need to go anywhere else to prepare interviews. There is a 99% chance that interviewers will ask questions from this material. So basically, it contain a lot of material categorized by experience level. Means each experience level has different material with all possible interview question and answer for Java, Spring Framework, Maven, Git, Spring Boot, Spring Security, Spring Data JPA, Kafka, microservices, Java coding questions, Stream API coding questions, and many more. I have provided the link to get this in the below description. And if someone needs this material plus two real enterprise client projects for reference, plus one-on-one lifetime doubt sessions and referrals to the MNCs, then they should check the interview preparation kit as well. I'll provide the link for this as well in the description below. So now moving to our interview. Okay, so Harsh, what type of projects can be created using Spring Boot?
What type of projects?
Projects, yes.
Web services.
Mm-hmm.
You can have
Web
monolithic
services,
application and
microservices.
microservices. You can also have UIs created using TimeLeaf in Spring Boot applications.
Uh, we can
Uh,
create synchronous projects, asynchronous projects.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, okay. So, do you know like can we create non-web projects by using Spring Boot? Do you know
yes, I
that?
think we also have this packaging, jar packaging for us to allow non-web applications as well.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. So, do you know about garbage collector?
Yes, I know, but I have never used it in my applications.
It's
Garbage
fine.
collector, what it does is it collects all the used elements and
Mm-hmm.
it saves memory.
Mm-hmm.
Once the usage of that object is completed, the method call is
Mm-hmm.
completed, it removes those objects from the memory.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. Uh, who manages the garbage collector? Do you know?
Main thread?
Who manages the garbage collector?
No idea.
Okay. So garbage collector in Java is basically managed by Java Virtual Machine. JVM automatically handles memory allocation and deallocation as objects are created and become unreachable using different garbage collection algorithms designed for various types of application system configuration. Okay. Okay. So moving ahead, do you know about memory leaks?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I know
Mm-hmm.
these memory leaks are often caused by static variables that you
Mm-hmm.
declare,
Mm-hmm.
and using them, these static variables are not removed by the garbage collector automatically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You would have to write the code to remove these static variables that you have declared.
Okay. Okay. Do you know what comparable interface?
Yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So comparable interface allows you to override a method called compare.
Mm-hmm.
Compare or compare to, I do not remember exactly, but
Mm-hmm.
it allows you to override this method, which changes the natural sorting order of that class.
Mm-hmm.
You can define your sorting order in that
Mm-hmm.
comparable compare method.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Why is not the comparable interface a functional interface even though it only has one abstract method?
No idea.
Okay. So basically the comparable interface is not considered as functional interface because it is intended to be implemented by objects that have a natural ordering. Functional
Yeah.
interfaces typically represent generic operations like lambda expression and are not tied to the internal state or ordering of the implementing objects. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So moving ahead, what is method overloading?
Method overloading.
Mm.
Method overloading is runtime polymorphism that you can achieve a
Mm-hmm.
method through which you can achieve runtime polymorphism.
Mm-hmm.
In this, what happens is in the same class you have multiple
Mm-hmm.
methods with the same
Mm-hmm.
name, but
Mm-hmm.
with different parameters
Mm-hmm.
which have different implementations.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Mm, can you give some examples?
Some examples for method overloading.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Okay.
examples means give two methods and how I mean overloading is happen, like something
Yeah.
like that.
So I think area would be the right
Mm-hmm.
thing for me to go with. Area. Sorry, just let me think for a while. Uh,
Okay.
you can. No, I cannot think of a real-time example for this.
Mm-hmm.
But it is based on the different number of parameters. I think in this list interface, there are multiple methods which are overridden.
Mm-hmm.
List off, and you give different number of parameters, it creates a different sized list
Mm-hmm.
always. So it has method overloading implemented in that
Mm-hmm.
scenario. And it also has one method with a list of with a variable arguments
Mm-hmm.
passed so that you
Mm-hmm.
can have as many as variables you want.
Mm-hmm. Okay. 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 So moving ahead. Mm, do you know Java 8 streams are immutable?
Yeah,
Okay.
it always generates a new stream whenever you make a change.
Uh-huh. So how does the immutability of a stream enhance reliability and maintainability in functional programming?
No idea.
Okay. So basically, the immutability of streams enhance reliability by eliminating issues related to shared mutable data. Got it?
Okay.
And this way avoiding thread safety issues in concurrent environments. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Can we explain the changes to the date and time API introduced in Java 8?
No, I do not have any idea about this. I think there were a lot of new interfaces that were added. Local date
Mm-hmm.
time is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I do not. There is also this zoned date time.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I know these two, and there were, I think, four different interfaces or classes that were added in
Mm-hmm.
data API in Java 8.
Mm-hmm. So Java 8 introduced new time under the package, as you know, like, and we have like older, we were using java.util.date and calendar. But new in the new things, we have local date, local time, local date time, something like that. Okay. Uh, okay. So what is type inference in Lambda expression?
Sorry,
Type inference.
no idea.
Okay. Okay. So moving ahead, fine. Uh, have you worked with Hibernate?
Yes.
Okay. So do you know the what is cascading in Hibernate?
Uh, Cascading, yeah, I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you have an entity and within that there is a variable with a link to another
Mm-hmm.
entity,
Mm-hmm.
you would have this cascade uh,
Mm-hmm.
annotation above that
Mm-hmm.
with cascade type
Mm-hmm.
uh, tall or something. I do not remember the parameters that were passed, but
Mm-hmm.
what cascade allows you is whenever you delete the main parent object, would
Mm-hmm.
also delete the related child components, child objects with it. Uh, this is what Cascade allows you to do.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Mm. Like in your current project, did you part of security implementation?
Yeah, I have little knowledge of that.
Okay. Yeah. Can you tell me like what's a security flow and all?
So right now we are using basic authentication for now.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is the UI sends us a authorization header
Mm-hmm.
with base64 encoding of
Mm-hmm.
username colon password.
Mm-hmm.
We check for that. We have a once per request filter change, something like that,
Mm-hmm.
for our security filter.
Mm-hmm.
So there we check for we decode this base 64 encoded string, and we
Mm-hmm.
check for the username and password, and then we also check for the role, and then we return
Mm-hmm.
a access token, JSession ID, which we call. So we return an access token. It contains all the information. And this token he could use for subsequent requests that he is sending. He does not have to always send username and
Mm-hmm.
password in the headers. He can just use this session ID, and
Mm-hmm.
Java handles it in memory. In
Mm-hmm.
memory, it stores these tokens and what are its roles and all.
Mm-hmm.
So we verify rules based on the URL path. So if
Mm-hmm.
the URL path has admin, it checks for admin privileges if he has or not.
Mm-hmm.
If the URL path has user, it checks for admin and user. Both can access
Mm-hmm.
these. And there is also a URL path for public for logging in as well.
Okay. 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 Got it. Why security is important?
Uh, to restrict access of users to unwanted APIs,
Mhm.
so that
So have
not
you
everybody could
have you
access.
faced security breach in your career?
No, not as of now.
Not as of now. But do you know if in future if someone face security breaches, what steps should be taken?
Yeah, I think we should be informing our Scrum Master, and
Mm-hmm.
there are some guidelines for this. We were
Mm-hmm.
having a course on this GDPR,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Global Data Protection.
Okay. Okay.
I
Okay.
do not know completely, but
Mm-hmm.
it establishes some guidelines and rules for how
Mm-hmm.
data breaches should be handled, and what would be the consequences of these
Mm-hmm.
allowing these data breaches to happen.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Got it. Got it. Uh, do you have experience in microservice as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So how can microservice communicate with each other?
So there are two possible modes of communication:
Mm-hmm.
synchronous and asynchronous modes of communication.
Mm-hmm.
Synchronous being the first microservice waits for the response of the second microservice.
Mm-hmm.
This mode of communication includes REST templates,
Mm-hmm.
gRPCs.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, REST templates and gRPCs are main examples for this. And for asynchronous mode of communication, I think message queues and um, Spring Reactive has web client, I think,
Mm-hmm.
which offers asynchronous communication between microservices.
Okay. What challenges have you faced with the inter-service communication?
Uh, Before, actually, we did not use service discovery. So
Mm-hmm.
we would always have to hard code all of these URLs
Mm-hmm.
before. And oftentimes the URL had was changing with number of instances increasing. So
Mm-hmm.
we cannot always hard code. So we started
Mm-hmm.
using service discovery, which made our jobs very simple.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Got it. Mm. Can you provide an example of integrating an external API in your application?
External API,
You guys are consuming any external
yeah,
API?
yeah. So we have an integration with Twilio,
Mm-hmm.
service provider for SMSs. Right now, we have the API keys and all stored in
Mm-hmm. So how you guys are
our.
consuming? Through REST
We
template or web client?
Yeah, REST template.
REST
We use
template.
REST template. Yeah.
Okay. Have you used web client?
No.
No. Okay. Okay. So moving ahead, why is logging important in application development?
Logging is important to understand how the application is performing, if there were
Mm-hmm.
any failures, and are there any concerns.
Mm-hmm.
It shows us warnings, it shows us errors and exceptions
Mm-hmm.
that are raising, and it also
Mm-hmm.
shows us the flow. I mean, the entire flow of where the exception originated and where
Mm-hmm.
it's affecting and all.
Mm. Okay. Okay. Fine. Mm. Do you feel like logging makes debugging things easy?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Uh, okay. So how can comprehensive logging help you debugging an issue in past? Give any example.
Logging always provides you the class name where the exception occurred.
Mm-hmm.
So, and with logging, you can also have these stack traces printed out.
Mm-hmm.
And these stack traces allow you to track which call was made when, before
Mm-hmm.
the final exception occurred, what were the calls that were happening. And you
Mm-hmm.
can also track the data that is coming in through logging.
Okay. Okay. Do you know the about the versioning in APIs?
Yeah.
Which versioning strategies do you prefer and why?
So versioning in APIs, right now, what we have done is we have only changed our context path URL to V2.
Okay.
So we only had two versions, V1 and V2. So for the second version, we introduced a V2 in our APIs to specify versioning difference.
Okay. Do you know how many ways are there to implement versioning in APIs?
Hmm.
Okay. So first one is what you have already told. For example, we have a API named resource. So API slash v1 slash resource, API slash v2 slash resource. So this is the one way. In second way, we can say slash resource question mark version is equal to one and version is equal to
Oh,
two. So this is
passing it as a query
passing.
parameter.
Yeah, yeah. And third way is passing versions in the headers.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Moving ahead. What is Spring IOC container and what are the difference between Bean Factory and application context?
Okay. Spring IAC container stands for inversion of control.
Mm-hmm.
And this changes the control of bean creation from the class to
Mm-hmm.
IOC, where
Mm-hmm.
all the beans are stored. This helps in dependency injection.
Mm-hmm.
It makes classes less dependent on how the beans were created and how the beans are maintained. IOC takes care of all of this. Once the bean is created, it gets stored in
Mm.
Spring IOC container. And application context and Bean Factory, I do not know the answer to that.
Okay. Okay. So application context basically includes Bean Factory features and adds more enterprise specific functionality, like event propagation, something like that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, can you provide examples of when to use path variables in get and post requests?
Path variables.
Mm-hmm.
So path variables are used when you want that variable, when it's a mandatory variable that you want, then
Mm-hmm.
you could have it in path variables. If it's an optional one, you can also send it in request parameters.
What's the example?
Version.
Example.
Yeah, version.
Okay, version.
Version number would be a great example
Mm-hmm.
for a path variable.
Okay, okay. What is an enum class?
Enum class is a data structure that you use to define a specific set of constants.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Have you used? Are you using enum classes in your project?
Yes,
Where?
to define the type of mode of communication, either SMS or email.
Okay,
We only have two objects in enum class, email and SMS.
okay, okay. Got it. Have you worked in migration projects, migrating versions like Java,
Yeah.
which?
The last one I worked on was from Java 8 to Java
Uh-huh.
17. So
Okay.
there were not a lot of changes. The main changes were in security part.
Mm-hmm.
Web configurer adapter was removed entirely
Mm-hmm.
through these changes,
Mm-hmm.
and we had to move to this once per request filter chain
Mm-hmm.
instead of that. So we had to make some changes in our authentication part. And
Mm-hmm.
there was this one major change in all import statements that
Mm-hmm.
Java migrated from Java X to
Mm-hmm.
Jakarta based libraries.
Java X to Jakarta, yes, correct. Uh, so you guys changed the Spring Boot version as well from 2 to
Yeah,
3?
we had to change two to yeah, three. We were
Mm,
using 2.7.5
mm-hmm.
something, and we changed it to 3.2.5.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. Okay, so mm, mm, mm. So can you describe some common exceptions you encountered while working with Spring Boot? Any common
Null
exception?
pointer exception.
Okay,
Uh,
other than null
that
pointer
is one
exception.
that caused a lot of trouble, and we started using optional class to handle those
To handle
exceptions.
this. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
do we have another way to handle null pointer exception other than optional class?
Null pointers, try and catch. I don't know.
No, it's
I
a
think
basic one. Null checks.
okay, if conditions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And other than null pointer exception?
Other than null pointer exceptions, so we faced this heap memory exceeded exception also at a time when we
Mm-hmm.
were handling large amount of data, and it was uh, troublesome for the application to handle that much of data because the limit of heap memory allocated to that application was very less. So we had to increase the heap memory for our
Mm.
application.
Okay, okay. Nice, nice. So moving ahead. So can enable auto configuration, component scan and configuration annotation be used separately instead of Spring Boot application?
I have never tried that, but I think a
Okay.
Spring Boot application also states the entry point of the application
Let's
so
say
that
if
it
I
could
don't
run.
want to use Spring Boot application annotation, can I use enable auto configuration, component scanning configuration, these together?
Uh, I am not sure of it because there is also
Mm-hmm.
this run command in that Spring Boot application annotation
Mm-hmm.
inside the main method. So I don't know if that run would run without either its Spring Boot annotation.
Okay, we can use actually because Spring
Okay.
Boot application consists these annotations only internally.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So we can use. So do you know the service annotation and repository annotation?
Yeah.
Can we interchange these annotations? Like using repository in service file and using service in repository file.
Uh, yeah. I never tried that. I'm
Uh-huh.
not sure. Uh,
We can do that, but it's not a good practice to do.
Yeah. So I think basically what these annotations do is just provide metadata. So I don't think
Mm-hmm.
it would affect it.
Mm-hmm. Because their base is component annotation.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Have you used post construct annotation?
I have never used it, but I know what it does.
Yeah, what it
Once
does.
the entire constructor, once the object is created and everything is set,
Mm-hmm.
the post construct annotation method is called and it
Mm-hmm.
runs.
Okay, okay. Uh, okay, so how can values be dynamically loaded in a Spring Boot application?
So there was this feature variables we can always have from REST API calls if you're speaking about that. If you want the application properties variables, then in Spring Cloud, I think there is a feature to get this properties file from any cloud service that you are hosting it on. You just have
Mm-hmm.
to specify the URL of your properties file.
Mm. Have you used value annotation?
Which one?
Value annotation. Value.
Yeah, value annotation is used to fetch data from these application properties.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, so will you able to write the coding by using Java 8 Stream API?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you please share your screen and you have to write a code. The program is find the sum of all digits of a number in Java 8. You are given an array. Sorry, you are given a
So
number.
sum of all numbers. Okay, I'll try.
Yeah,
Uh,
sum of all digits. For example, you have initialized a number n is equal to 123, and you have to print 3 plus 2 plus 1, that is 6. by
Oh, you are
using
going to give me a string and I would have to give the sum of all numbers in that
yes, yes, yes.
for a string. I don't know if I'd be able to do that in using strings, but I can
Okay.
do it normally without strings.
Okay. Try first try with stream.
Okay.
Yeah, I can help you.
Mm, so you're saying something like this.
Hmm.
This is the string, right? I
Yes,
would
yes,
have
yes.
to calculate 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'll try. Uh, uh,
So I can
so
help you.
first I'll try
Just
to
write
change
in
this. Harsh, is it?
just
Sorry.
declare int sum is equal to, because you have
Okay.
to store in the
Yeah,
sum,
yeah.
right? Int sum is equal to stream dot collect.
Uh, uh, Sorry, just a minute.
Yeah, yeah. First you
Should
will
I?
try, then I will ask you how to do that.
Sure.
I will tell you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm needing your help now. I think I can solve this. Yeah.
Okay. So int sum is equal to, let's write in a one line. Int sum is equal
Okay.
to stream dot collect, because we have to collect the digits, right?
Okay. Dot.
And then in stream dot
I
collect.
don't see a collect here.
Okay. You should get.
The only thing that I'm able to see is concat.
Okay. Okay. So do one thing. Instead of declare a string, instead write in integers like int harsh 1 2 3 4.
Integer array.
No, not array, just simple value like
Okay.
int harsh
Okay.
is equal to what, any number. Then int sum is equal to stream dot off. Yes. Inside of, now what you have to do is you have to uh, split these number. First you have to convert into the string each, then after converting, then you have to split. So write string dot value of
String dot value of
harsh.
harsh.
Now it is converted to the string. Now dot after dot split, just
Hmm.
double quotes. So it is now converted your uh, uh, into the character array, your integer to the character array, right? Kind of character
Yeah.
array. Now after
Hmm.
this dot collect, now we have to collect this.
Okay. Here. Sorry. Uh, Dot collect.
Yeah, inside collect, right? Collectors dot summing int. Collectors
Collect.
dot, because we have to sum of these integers what we have. Okay. And inside summing int bracket, write integer, caps integer, uh, colon colon dot, yes, then parse int, PARSEINT, then yes, close, I mean semicolon in the end of this line. Yeah, this is the code, not here,
Okay.
after
Okay.
yeah, completing this line. What error you are getting? Change type sum into some statics.
Should I try printing this?
Yes, yes. In some statics, just write integer integer. First print this. What is this sum? This is not. We have to
Correct.
fetch some from here, I think.
Yeah, I think some dot there should be a method.
Get some.
Gets that.
Mhm. Yeah, so this is the answer. Okay,
Mm,
so Harsh, I think, can you please unshare your screen?
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, okay, Harsh. So I think it's done from my end. Your interview was very nice. So